Hello, welcome to episode 10 of Generation 2 of the Perfect Genetics Challenge. The three little siblings are down here in the basement working on their potion building skill. Denise, on the right, she's already made her imaginary friend potion, and she is making other potions because I've decided that she might as well learn how to make them all. Little Debbie's struggling though, she keeps exploding, but she's not there at the moment, she's off playing somewhere else. Now, Denise has gone upstairs and she's pulled her imaginary friend doll out of her pocket, and it is about to become live. And I might have a little chat, and the imaginary friend will be made real when she gives it the potion. Denise is going to chat with her imaginary friend now, and when they've become best friends, she'll be able to give it the potion with some hope of it drinking it. Now, I don't know if you remember, but in earlier episodes I found two imaginary friend dolls running around town, and they were not real. They still had their little light bulb above their heads, but they were in sim form. And I added them to the household because I wasn't sure who they belonged to. And in another episode, we've already seen Pat get made real by his alien owner, Carl. And now this is the other one, Riley. And there he is, the second of those two imaginary friend dolls that I'd found running around town has now become real. So now he's going to have to go to get himself a makeover. They both seem happy with the result, and off they go to celebrate by playing on the spring riders. When he tired of the spring rider, Riley tried the swings, while other children walked around the yard or played in the sand pit. Denise had had enough and she went inside to go to sleep. It was getting very late, and I suspect I'm going to have to find beds for all of these young imaginary friends that have just been made real. Daryl, Donna and Debbie are still working on the potions. Denise is finished now, I think. Debbie's hardly started. She's been working at it as long as the others have, but she just keeps exploding her potions and having to have a shower. That's her with the dark hair. And the little girl with the pink and yellow hair, that is Cindy's heir, little Donna. Donna and Debbie are twins. They're the second set of twins that Bill and Cindy had. And Daryl there with the white hair is one of the first set of twins that Bill and Cindy had. He's almost at level 10 in the logic skill, and he is soon going to have discovered all of the potions, and he really wants to make his imaginary friend real, but I won't let him just yet because there's just too many Sims in the household. We don't need another one. I allowed Denise to make hers real because he was already running around in the household when I added him to the household when he was still an imaginary friend, not yet made real. But once they've become live, then they're fully a Sim, even though they haven't been made real yet, and that's why you can't delete them once they've been made live. You could have major problems for your game if you delete an imaginary friend once it's become live, even though it hasn't been made real yet. When imaginary friends first become live, they become members of the homeless Sims household. Poor little Debbie, she doesn't seem to be able to make much progress with her discovering of potions. I might have to end up getting somebody else to make her the potion that she needs to turn her imaginary friend real, and just let her be a little Sim who never quite learns how to make potions because she just explodes so many. She just keeps blowing them up, and she has to have a shower or she can't continue. So she's had a shower now. Next morning, when everybody was at school or work, I found little Bindi outside having a wonderful game with the ball. It's taller than he is, but he seems to be managing it quite well, and it was fun to watch. Every so often he would fall over when he tried to bang the ball with his nose. I guess that's what a little dog will get up to when he's left at home alone. There's a cat somewhere, little Coco. Not sure where she is. I think I might leave him there now. he's been having some fun. That day, after school was over and homework had been done, I decided it was about time that Mary and her imaginary friend made real, Barbara, got some gardening skills. They've been working on the gardening for a bit now. As long as I get them up to around level 7 in gardening, I'll be happy to leave them, because once they get to level 7, they can plant any type of seed that they're likely to find at the greenhouse or lying around out in the countryside when they go searching for seeds. I don't worry too much. Of course, there are 5 more special seeds that can't be found lying around. They've got to complete special opportunities to plant cheese or eggs or beef patties or steak and the extraordinary omni plant. The 4 little imaginary friends made real need to work on their child skills. Some of them have already finished their cooking skill. None of them have done their blocks yet. I made them all wait so they could do it together, just in case it improved their friendship a little. We want to get them aged up to teen as soon as possible so we can move them out of here. They've got to stay in the house as teens for a little while to get some extra skills before I age them up to young adult. Don seems to be enjoying watching them work on their skills. There you can see some of the festival eggs that have been collected. The one that we've found last episode is the one on the top shelf at the far end, the blue one. There's Debbie. She wants to have a chat with her grandfather, Don. Oh, and there's Barbara just walking across. She's just come in from gardening. I think it must be bedtime. It's getting very late in the Sims world. Looks like all of the little boys have completed their block skills, so they can all go to bed. And Don's gone over to do some gardening. This was his garden to start with, but various of his children and grandchildren and their imaginary friends made real have worked in it since. Don doesn't get much of a chance these days. Oh look, there's a creature. I don't know what it is, but it obviously needs to go to the loo. Urgently. It's invisible except for its thought bubble. I did go for a search and I couldn't find it at all. It's just a thought bubble walking along. Looks like it could be a small animal. I planted a garden around that chimney. It looked a bit odd just sticking up out of the grass. And there's the usual townies sleeping beside the pool. And this little group are back at the chemistry table. Oh, look at that. Daryl just made a potion. Can't have made them all yet though, because he's going to go back and try to find another one. This constantly making potions is not just about finding new potions, although they do need to find the potion to make their imaginary friends become real, but it's also about them gaining logic skill. Daryl's already found most of the potions, but he's very close to level 10 in logic, so he's going to keep working at it. And I think the main benefit for little Debbie is getting a logic skill. She's not seeming to have much luck actually discovering potions. Denise and Daryl both worked hard on their logic before they started at the chemistry tables. They were playing chess. That was another way of getting logic, and I do use that as well. Since they started so high in their logic skill, it didn't take either of them very long to find the potion to make their imaginary friends real. This is the fireplace. It's responsible for that chimney that's poking out of the grass above, one that I put the little garden around that we just saw a few minutes ago. Denise is reading a skill book of some sort. She's got all the logic she needs. She'll be aging up to 10 shortly. Her twin brother Daryl is still working on the chemistry table, trying to get his logic up to level 10. I came across young Lance Ayahod in the nursery playing with a little bear. He was having a lovely time there on his own. Before Lance became real, he was the imaginary friend doll of little Sonny Ayahod. Later on, it's time to leave for school and everybody hurries out to the bus. There seems to be an alien visiting the lot that left his space car parked in the middle of the street. Most of the imaginary friends made real that have gone to school a few times now have already got up to A grade at school, so I should be able to start aging them up to teen. We might be having a birthday party shortly in this episode. Don had to deliver some harvestables to the coffee house, and he stopped to chat with the proprietor while he was there after he had delivered his harvestables. Don is a family-oriented sim, and he seems to like chatting about his children. Wall plaques for the King and Queen of the Spring Festival turned up in the letterbox, but I didn't see who won them. Don retrieved them from the letterbox and we hung them on the wall near the fancy eggs that they found at the Spring Festival. There was a bit of a hold-up at the front gate when the children came home from school, and Pip Goodfellow, one of the townies, decided to leave. This Goodfellow couple, they tend to come and go a lot. They seem to live in the backyard of this house, and I even gave them a brand new level on their own home to make it big enough for them all to live in, but they just like to stay here, play with the group science project and sleep in the chair beside the pool. After the homework had all been done, it was time for some of them to play in the sand pit and others to play with other various items that they've got. There's one of the little aliens over there playing with the basketball hoop. And there's Freda Goff. She's another one of the townies that's a frequent visitor. Only thing is, locking doors doesn't keep her out of the house. She just floats through the walls. There's always townies in the yard, having the group science project up at ground level and the gates unlocked ensures there are plenty of uninvited visitors. Lance Ayahod, who is Sonny's imaginary friend made real, is enjoying a swing. It's good to see some of the equipment being used by the children of the household. Pat managed to convince Don to read him a bedtime story. It's one of the toddler books. It would be nice if he got some skill from having that book read to him, but I doubt that he will. And they're in the room that used to be occupied by Trish. I don't have a sim who's currently allocated this bedroom, but I thought it was a nice bright room for them to enjoy the bedtime story. Pat is Carl's imaginary friend made real, and of course Carl is Bill's alien son. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've given Don a bit of a makeover. He's got a new everyday outfit. Don and Olivia have been growing apart lately. They're both flirty sims, and they've both been caught flirting with some of the townies that visit their yard on a regular basis, and they've decided to rekindle their romance. And things have got very romantic between them, to the point that I think Olivia's pregnant. And there's Bill. He got an opportunity to do some jogging, so he went out and he did a bit of jogging. Thought I'd try to capture him in the process. That paparazzi keeps turning up in the strangest places and just standing there. We saw him at the Spring Festival talking to the raccoon in an earlier episode. Here's Don showing off his new everyday outfit. Olivia got new outfits as well, but she's not wearing them. She's obviously in maternity gear now. Here come the children home from school. We're going to have to age some of these up soon. We've got to make room in this house for more Sims. I think some of those little fellows will be going to be teens shortly. And the teens we've got are going to be hurriedly skilling so they can move out and go and join their siblings in Vice City. There's Bill returning the device that he had to wear to prove that he'd done the jogging. I've been talking about birthdays, and I decided Max could have his birthday up on the landing upstairs, just outside Don and Olivia's bedroom. I had to add some lights though, because by the time I decided to have the birthday, it had got dark. He's one of Don's alien children. Here's a little heir, Cindy's little heir, Donna. She's going to clap and cheer for her alien uncle. There go the candles, he's getting blown out. And now what's he going to do? Let's watch him spin into his teenage form. And Denise is showing up. She's another one of his nieces. They're both Cindy's daughters. And Don's granddaughters. There's Don. That's his little alien son. There he goes. So now Max is going to have to start learning some extra skills and might get him gardening soon. There is little Daryl. He is another one of Max's nephews, Cindy's son, and brother of the two girls. I needed some work done in the garden by a sim with the green thumb trait and a level 5 or above gardening skill. I didn't have anybody with the green thumb, so that's why I chose green thumb for Max. I didn't think about where they were going to eat the cake, so they had to carry it downstairs to the table and chairs in the kitchen. Eventually, everybody turned up on the balcony to cheer and whistle and celebrate Max's birthday, but Max had long gone downstairs to eat his cake, and I think we should go down there to see him in action. So Max didn't make it down to the kitchen. I found him sitting at a little bar that I added on the same floor that the balcony is on, and he just went and sat there and ate his cake. But everybody else went down to the kitchen and dining area to sit at the table to eat their cake, even if all they had to eat was a cupcake. And I see Bill's made it home after delivering the device that he needed to deliver after doing all of that jogging. Now, according to a long-standing family tradition, Paul will need to have his birthday next because he is Max's imaginary friend, made real. We might as well have Paul's birthday upstairs as well. So here he is, ready to blow out his candles. That's Carl in the blue top. He is Bill's alien son, and Carl's imaginary friend is Pat. And Pat has already got to grade A in school, so they'll be able to age up soon, probably in the next episode. Looks like Paul's thinking about... Oh, there it is, he's blowing out his candles. Now he's going to spin into his teenage form. I do hope he doesn't end up with the pigtails. Uh-oh, that looks like pigtails to me, with red ribbons in his hair. He can get the green thumb trait as well, and then I'll put him and Max working in the garden. I guess he's going to make rather a big change to his appearance in Stylist very soon. Debbie's got a bit of cake this time, and if she runs with it, Bill and Cindy have turned up, and that little alien with the green striped shirt on, he is another of Don's alien sons. He's the youngest and final one. There won't be any more. Now that little chap standing between Cindy and Bill, that's Pat. And Pat is Carl's imaginary friend made real. And both Pat and Carl have got to grade A at school, so they'll probably be aging up to teen in the next episode. And of course, Carl is Bill's alien son. There's Paul eating his cake after he's been into Stylist. He's got new hair and new clothes. I'm expecting the final two little alien boys to age up to teen in the next episode, as well as their imaginary friends, Pat and Lance. All four of them have already got to grade A at school. So the household will then be 2 adults, that's Don and Olivia, 2 young adults, Bill and Cindy. There should be 8 teens when we've aged up the 2 aliens and their imaginary friends during next episode. There's 4 children who will still be children. They're all Cindy and Bill's children. And it'll be an interesting household. And I'll possibly send Mary and Barbara to Vice City. I'll just check what their skill level is like, but I think they're looking pretty good to move out. And here is Olivia reading a book. And since she's now pregnant, I suspect there could be a baby arriving shortly. There's Don, he's out in the town, also reading a book. And Olivia went to the day spa because she just needed a massage. She had a relaxing massage. Olivia is wishing for a girl and Don wants a boy. Each wish is worth 5,000 points. Back at home, the teens are reading. Got to do a bit of study. The 2 girls, they are going to have to try to cram as much extra information as they can before they find themselves aged up to young adults and moved out to live on their own in Vice City. That's Mary and her imaginary friend made real, Barbara. The other 2 sitting there, of course, are Max and Paul, now that they've both aged up to teen. They've got a lot of learning to do as well. It's been getting very late and Lance hasn't come home from school yet. He went to a friend's house. I tracked him down at the diner and told him to go home. Looks like there's an alien in the diner having something to eat because there's the space car sitting in the parking lot. When Denise completed all of her potions, I was looking for something to get her to do, and I'd forgotten that children were able to use the inventing machine, and I told her to go and invent something, expecting her to not be able to do it. And there she is, she's inventing, getting some inventing skill. I haven't got the children to learn that before, at least not in this game. I think I have a vague recollection of children in the boarding school from about 2015 doing something like that. And here is a ghost story. That's Denise's imaginary friend made real, little Riley, telling the ghost story. And that is Cindy and one of the townies sitting there listening to the story. I think we've come in just at the end of it. He's just about finished telling it. At least Riley won't have to get aged up to a teen very quickly. He'll wait for Denise, and we'll keep Denise as a child for a bit longer. She's got all of her basic child skills done, but there's extra things she needs to learn. Daryl will be the next one to turn his imaginary friend real. That machine there that Debbie's there playing, that is something I got from buying Sim points. When Sims 3 was still being made, you had to buy Sim points differently to how you do it now. And if you spend a certain amount of money on Sim points, you'd get something for free. And that machine, that arcade machine that she's using, was one of the things that I got for free. So it is store content, but you've never been able to buy it from the store. But I like using it occasionally. It's usually in my things, but Sims don't often use it. Uh-oh, Olivia's heading for the hospital. Baby's coming. Everybody's panicking. We might see this baby before the end of the video, hopefully. I think we've still got time. Don's keen to take her to the hospital. I think he's thrilled to bits with the thought of having another baby in the house. He is a family-oriented Sim, and he's going to go with her. I don't know how she feels about it. She just likes children, so she'll probably continue working while he stays at home with the baby. That's why his career is really stalled. He just wants to be a celebrity 5-star chef. He's had to stay home so many times after the babies are born that he's barely got his career going. I mean, he's doing better than Bill, but Bill's still a young adult. He's just started his career. Don's nearly an elder, and he's still trying to get there. And now he's going to have more time off because there's another baby coming. One thing I've discovered about these two, she always goes back to work the day after she has the baby, and he always stays home to take care of it. It's happened like that for every one of their 6 children so far. I think it's 6 children. Maybe it's 5. The 6th was a plant sim that Olivia picked, and she's gone to live in Mountain Lake now. Now we wait. That's the performance park. There's paparazzi there with the proprietor. Compared to some sim visits to the hospital, it didn't take Olivia very long to emerge, and she's carrying a little blue bundle, so Don gets the 5,000 lifetime happiness points. He got the boy he wanted. As they drive home with their new little bundle of joy, we might have a look at the family tree to see where little Oliver fits in. So there's Oliver with his parents above and his 10 siblings and half-siblings beside him on the family tree. His parents are Don and Olivia of course was the founder of this Perfect Genetics Challenge. Petal is Olivia's plant sim daughter, and she now lives in Mountain Lake. Sunny is Don's youngest alien son. Max has just become a teen, and he is another one of Don's alien sons. Mary is a teen, and she is Don's alien daughter. Martin is the eldest alien son of Don, and he now lives in Vice City. Gary is the eldest son of Olivia and Don, the firstborn, living in Mountain Lake with his wife and 2 children. Percy is the youngest, well, he was the youngest before Oliver was born, and he's in Mountain Lake living on a house by himself. Cindy is in Moonlight Falls in the main household. She is the heir of Olivia, and she's now married and has 4 children. The next one is Owen, who is the 3rd son of Don and Olivia, and he lives in Mountain Lake in a house on his own. James is the 2nd son of Don and Olivia, and he is married and lives in Mountain Lake with his wife and 4 children. Now let's just have a quick look at Don's family tree. So we can see that the 4 alien children of Don are not Olivia's children, and the Olivia's children with Don are James. There's James and his quads. His wife wants to have 5 children to raise from baby to teen. I've got to try to work out how to get the 5th baby there without her becoming pregnant, because I'm sure they'll have another set of quads. I just might get her to pick a plant sim baby. We'll see what happens. Then Owen is next. He doesn't have a family yet, and he's followed by Cindy with her 2 sets of twins, including her little heir. And then there's Percy and Gary with his twins. And everybody lives in Mountain Lake with the exception of Cindy and her family, and Martin, who lives in Vice City, and Cindy's family are in Moonlight Falls, the main household. And the only extra in Olivia's side is Petal, the plant sim that she picked. And Petal lives in Mountain Lake in a household mostly comprised of imaginary friends. Well, any of the imaginary friends who have become young adults will have their own homes and be living alone, generally. Not always, but mostly. I think Petal could be the senior sim in a house of teens and children that I'd had to place somewhere. So that's it for the family tree. Little Oliver has certainly come into rather a large family. That's why I've got so many extra worlds coming into this game. Now let's see what happens to Oliver when he gets home from the hospital. There are lots of cribs and other places to put babies in this nursery. That's because we usually have more than one baby or toddler in the nursery at a time. But unfortunately for little Oliver, he is the only baby and there are no toddlers. And there are lots of young adults and teens and even a ghost or 2 that's going to come along and move him from wherever the last one put him. So he's going to be rotated between cots and the baby bouncer and on the floor. They're all lining up. He's not going to get any chance to be alone or have a sleep. At least he won't be lonely, but he might be worn out with all the picking up and carrying around he's going to get. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you have enjoyed it, please consider giving it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you'd like to catch up on this little household again in the future, well then subscription might be a good idea. Big thanks to everybody who has subscribed. And I will see you in the next video. We'll probably be aging little Oliver up to toddler. We can't have him carried around like this all of the time. Just wait till all those teens get home. Bye-bye for now, and happy simming. Cindy looks happy. She's got another baby brother. I'm sorry this video is so late. My life has been a bit tumultuous over the past few weeks. I've had a week in hospital and 2 surgeries, and now I'm out and recovering from that. So it's taken me a while to get the video, but hopefully we'll get on track again. I've got another surgery coming up in a few weeks, but then that'll be it all over, hopefully.